the Mobile Surface-to-Air Missile System S-400, which entered service in 2007, virtually eliminates any chances for an enemy to approach the protected target. The S-400 SAM will detect any target, track it to the effective engagement zone, select the appropriate missile, and destroy the airborne object no matter where or how it is approaching. Since 2023, the system's arsenal has included missiles not only of the ground-to-air class, but also ground-to-ground, meaning the S-400 can now target ground-based objects as well. This article will explain how this happens. The first cruise missiles were created during World War I in Nazi Germany. The V-1 carried a conventional, non-nuclear warhead. The development was revolutionary, and there were no specific countermeasures at the time. The V-1 missiles were destroyed by conventional aircraft. The missiles cruising speed of 700 kilometers per hour allowed the pilot to approach it closely and knock off its stabilizer with the wingtip. The guidance system went crazy and the missile would fall before reaching its target. However, effective countermeasures against the first ballistic missile in history, the V-2, created in the same years with a speed of 5,940 kilometers per hour, did not exist at that time. The first missile defense project in the Soviet Union was launched in 1945 under the name Anti-V-1, intended to combat German ballistic missiles. However, soon both the U.S. and the USSR developed missiles with higher speeds and fundamentally different warhead designs, where the warhead separated from the missile body. As a result, the missile defense project quickly became outdated and underwent thorough and deep revision. The difficulty in creating a small missile to counter the warhead lay in the fact that radio electronics at that time were far from perfect, bulky, and fragile, while radars were large and cumbersome. Therefore, it was impossible to equip an interceptor missile with self-guidance sensors. Most missile defense systems were ground-controlled and consisted of large antenna complexes, radar stations, and auxiliary equipment. After World War I, the former allies, the USSR and the USA, became irreconcilable enemies in the new Cold War. An arms race began involving the improvement of various types of military equipment, including nuclear weapons and their delivery systems, long-range bombers, cruise missiles, and ballistic missiles. Effective means were needed to intercept the enemy's flying deadly equipment in case of a real war. Missile defense systems joined the arms race. Missile defense developments in the USSR were quite intensive until 1949. But then Joseph Stalin decided to focus efforts on air defense for Moscow. A project called Berkut was launched to defend against bombers capable of delivering nuclear bombs. Work on missile defense was postponed due to a lack of funds for the costly projects. Meanwhile, in the U.S., ballistic missiles capable of carrying thermonuclear warheads with a yield of up to 1.5 mount over a distance of up to 2,800 kilometers were being developed. Soon, resources from design bureaus and other organizations working on weapons development were redirected toward research in missile defense systems. In the 1950s, specialists conceived the idea of making Moscow's air defense systems mobile. The same idea was implemented in missile defense systems. In 1969, work began on a new mobile surface-to-air missile system, the S-300 Favorite. Such systems had not existed in the Soviet Union before. The Favorite was created in 3 versions: Army, Naval, and National Air Defense, which entered service in the late 1970s to early 1980s. The advantages of this system over previous ones, in addition to mobility, were evident. Most importantly, the S-300 was the first SAM system with full automation of the synchronized operation of all parts of the complex. The functions of detection, target acquisition, and tracking, as well as guidance, were carried out by electronic computing machines based on pre-programmed parameters. Operators were needed mainly to monitor combat processes and occasionally switch the system to manual control. The subsequent development of this system led to the creation of the S-400 SAM, designed by the specialists at the Airborne Hamas Scientific Production Association, named after academician A. Rasputin. This Russian military-industrial enterprise, located in Moscow, specializes in creating air defense and surface-to-air missile systems. The first demonstration launch of the S-400 missile took place on February 12, 1999, at the Kapustin Air Test Range in the Astrakhan region. After several years of testing, the new system was adopted on April 28, 2007. The first divisions were deployed in the Moscow region and then to other regions. It was reported in the media that the S-400 systems were responsible for airspace security during the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi. The mission of the S-400 SAM is to destroy all types of airborne objects, aircraft, strategic and tactical aviation, reconnaissance and radar detection aircraft, jamming aircraft, etc., UAVs, cruise and ballistic missiles, and other aerial threats flying at altitudes from 5 meters to 35 kilometers, at distances ranging from 2 to 380 kilometers. The S-400 can intercept supersonic and hypersonic flying objects, and can detect targets at a range of 600 kilometers. The S-400 system consists of 4 components: control systems. This includes the command post and a panoramic radar protected from interference. The radar detects the target and transmits information to the command post, which determines which missiles and which of the subordinate launchers will engage the target. Launch commands and feedback are sent from here. Up to 8 surface-to-air missile systems SAMs. Each SAM includes a multifunctional radar station, 910-6E, capable of detecting up to 100 targets at a distance of up to 400 kilometers and up to 12 launchers. The SAM's task is to track and destroy the target when necessary. Each SAM also has its own support brigades responsible for supplying the system with necessary resources such as electricity, fuel, and spare parts when in combat readiness. The system can launch a missile in just 10 seconds after detecting a target, using the missile that is best suited for destroying the specific threat. Each SAM can simultaneously guide 20 missiles at 10 targets to missiles per target. Since the system consists of up to 8 SAMs, it can simultaneously target up to 80 airborne objects and launch up to 160 missiles, transport and loading vehicles and missile ammunition, depending on the type. The missiles have various characteristics, including size, weight, range, and altitude. Some were developed for the S-300. For example, the S-400 missile, created in 1992, is 7.5 meters long with a diameter of 51.9 centimeters and weighs between 1,800 to 1,900 kilograms. Its warhead weighs 143 to 145 kilograms. This missile can reach speeds of up to 2,100 meters per second and destroy targets moving at speeds of up to 2,800 meters per second at distances of up to 150 kilometers. Technical support systems. These include spare parts, mobile repair workshops, additional generators, compressors, maintenance equipment for missiles, and other gear. Technicians operate here, ensuring the system is in working order to protect the skies from airborne threats. The further development of the S-400 SAM system led to the creation of the S-500 Prometheus SAM, which began to be supplied to the armed forces in 2021. The newest system is primarily designed to destroy intercontinental ballistic missiles and low-orbit satellites in exoatmospheric regions and within close range. It is also capable of destroying aircraft, drones, and cruise missiles, including those flying at hypersonic speeds. Prometheus can simultaneously target and strike up to 10 supersonic targets. Its effective range is around 600 kilometers. The system is designed to protect Moscow, intercontinental ballistic missile silos, and other strategically important objects. Being mobile, it can be deployed anywhere as needed, either by road, rail, or air. Currently, the S-400 is not only in service with the Russian military. The export version, named Triumph, has been purchased by countries like Belarus, India, China, and Turkey.